I'm starting to do something different with these build videos to where you guys can decide what video you want to see next. So on Twitter, I put out a poll saying, hey, what Titan build do you want to see out of these 3 exotics, the Heart of Inmost Light, the No Backup Plans, and the Second Chance. And the Second Chance and No Backup Plans got tied hilariously enough. So in this video, I'm going to be going over a build with the updated No Backup Plans gauntlets and why it's kind of powerful this season. So let's just dive right into it. Like I said, the exotic we're going to talk about is the No Backup Plans. This is what it looks like. It actually comes with a pretty interesting ornament. What's cool is that whenever you change your subclass, the color obviously changes, but we want to take advantage of the Overshield and the Void subclass this time around. So it's perk, Force Multiplier. A lot going on here, but let's break it down. While using a Void subclass, rapid shotgun final blows or defeating a powerful combatant with a shotgun will grant a Void Overshield and start health regeneration. While you have a Void Overshield, shotguns deal additional damage, and shotgun final blows refresh the Overshield. Provides a moderate benefit to shotgun airborne effectiveness and reload speed. Now, obviously, we want to take advantage of certain things on the artifact. Later in the video, I'm going to talk about what to use once the season is over in regards to the subclass, because this build is still going to be really effective. It's just this season, there's some bonuses here that we can really take advantage of. So firstly, I would recommend picking up authorized mods Void and Melee, again, reducing those armor energy costs of those respective mods, which means we can use other mods that usually cost more. But again, in my mind, we want the melee mods because we're being close range with the shotgun anyway, and I'm going to be using Void weapons on the Void subclass. The reason being is because we can get some pretty cool advantages with these middle ones right here. So first up, Unto the Breach. Defeating a Void debuff target creates a Void Breach while your Void subclass is equipped. Now, that is a target that is suppressed, volatile, or weakened. You defeat that target, it will create a Void Breach. On the Void subclass, under the fragments, we have a couple of things that do create Void Breaches. You know, Echo of Cessation, defeating volatile targets. Echo of Domineering, defeating a suppressed target, creates a Void Breach. Same thing, Echo of Harvest, defeating a weakened target, creates a Void Breach. With Unto the Breach, we don't get like the small bonuses of, you know, the finisher and an orb of power, but it pretty much combines the baseline perks of all 3 of those fragments into this fragment, so we don't need to use any of those ones to create Void Breaches. We can just have this artifact perk. Now next up, Protective Breach. This coincides with Unto the Breach. Picking up a Void Breach gives you an Overshield or refreshes your existing Overshield. As you can tell, we're gonna have a lot of Overshield with this build and have that bonus shotgun damage. Then lastly, Supernova. This is just kind of a bonus. It's not absolutely necessary, but picking up a Void Breach causes your next source of Void damage to create a large weakening pulse, whether that's your abilities or your Void weapons. Again, that's just an additional weakening proc that we can have. Now let's go over what I'm using under the Sentinel Titan subclass for this first part. This is what I'm using for Season of the Deep in particular, so just keep that in mind. So for the super, I'm using Ward of Dawn. If you want to use Sentinel Shield, that's totally fine, but Ward, we feel like it's just good for PvE. Comes back fast, good for bonus damage, good for survivability just in case. Bunch of options there. Next up, for our abilities, you can either go with Towering or Rally Barricade, and it honestly doesn't matter. Next up, I'm going with Strafe Lift. Use whatever lift you'd like. I know a lot of people like Catapult, I just like Strafe. For the melee, I would recommend the Shield Throw. Again, you hurl the shield, it can ricochet, hit a bunch of targets. The more targets you hit, the more Overshield that you get. So keep that in mind. If you did want to do Shield Bash, again, it does apply suppression, which can stun Overload champions, but you have to charge it up, and if you miss, you lose 15% of it because of the changes to, you know, the shoulder charge specific melee. So that's why I'm just going to go with the Shield Throw here. Then lastly, for the grenade, I'm going to go with a Vortex Grenade. Again, I can throw it. It's going to suck a bunch of targets in. It's going to be really good. For aspects here, I'm going to go with Offensive Bulwark. While you have an Overshield or are inside a Ward of Dawn, your grenade charges significantly faster. You have increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows extend the duration of your Overshield. You gain an additional Shield Throw while you have the Sentinel Shield. Not the main point. The main point is that when you have an Overshield, you get a variety of bonuses here. And then lastly, Controlled Demolition. Hitting a target with a Void ability or Volatile Explosion makes them volatile. Further damage to a volatile target causes them to explode, grants you nearby allies health when volatile targets explode near you. And again, volatile rounds from Void weapons can stun anti-barrier champions. Now for our fragments here, we do have a couple options, but there are 2 that I would highly recommend. First up, Echo of Undermining. Your Void Grenades weaken targets. That is a -20 to Discipline, but with that Vortex Grenade, be able to weaken targets again. That can also proc Unto the Breach because weaken is a debuff, but it's good in general if you need to throw a grenade on a boss to cause a debuff, or you just need to suck a bunch of adds in to kill them even faster. Again, that just helps out the grenade there. And then I would highly recommend Echo Starvation. Picking up a Void Breach or an Overpower grants Devour. It is a -10 recovery, but if you don't know what Devour is, essentially once it procs, you pick up that Void Breach or Overpower. Final blows restore you to full health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. So as long as you're rapidly getting kills, you're going to have health back and your grenade back even faster. For the last 2 fragments, you can honestly use what you want, whatever you're comfortable with, but I personally like Echo of Remnants to make that Vortex Grenade lasts longer. Again, that's going to increase the duration of that grenade. And then since we're going to be in close quarters, I like Echo Reprisal. Again, final blows while surrounded by combatants grant super energy. Again, the faster we can get that Ward of Dawn, we can get our super, you know, the more helpful we are to our team and to ourselves. Now, once the season is over, outside of getting rapid shotgun final blows to gain an overshield, there are a couple other ways to do it. Unfortunately, we won't have Protective Breach next season, so we won't be able to get a free overshield from just picking up a Void Breach. And, you know, whenever we defeat a target with Volatile, you know, again, we're going to have Controlled Demolition this season on this build in particular. We might not be able to have it next season. So what I would recommend is looking into the aspect called Bastion. Cast your super to grant overshield to nearby allies, but the main portion, casting your barricade grants overshield to yourself and nearby allies and empowers it, enabling it to slowly regenerate the overshield of allies bunkering behind it and extend their overshield duration. The main thing with this is that when you pop that barricade, you get an instant overshield, which means you can instantly have that bonus shotgun damage. Now, outside of that, what I would look into if you wanted to use a weapon to gain an overshield, I would look into Repulsor Brace. Defeating a void debuff target grants an overshield. Whether that target's weakened, suppressed, or volatile, Repulsor Brace will be able to give you an overshield just from getting the kill there. Now, there are two other things if you want to take advantage of that weapon that I'd look into. First up being Echo Cessation. You know, finish your final blows create a burst of void damage that causes nearby combatants to become volatile, but defeating a volatile target creates a void breach. So we do want to keep that in mind. But the other one is Echo of Instability. Defeating a target with a grenade grants volatile rounds to your void weapons. It is a plus 10 to strength. Pretty much if you get a kill with that grenade, any of your void weapons now will gain the volatile rounds. So again, if we have volatile rounds on a gun that comes with Repulsor Brace, it's pretty much guaranteed we're going to get a free overshield from this weapon. Next, let's go over the armor mods that I'm using. So I like Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills, and hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. If you want to rock double hands-on, I think that's totally fine there, but we are going to be in close quarters, so I would recommend at least one hands-on. And then if you're having trouble finding shotgun ammo, I would recommend Special Ammo Finder. Increases the drop chance of special ammo on a kill. On our gauntlets, I'm rocking Momentum Transfer and Impact Induction. Pretty much if I cause damage with my melee or by a grenade, it's going to have a cooldown for both of those abilities respectively. So as long as I use the abilities, they're going to get cooldown even faster, which is good. And then Heavy Handed. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power. Now I know you're thinking, David, the shield throw, that's the only thing that's going to be able to create an orb of power here, and that has a cooldown, right? The cool thing is that once you have that overshield from, you know, the Protective Breach and you continue meleeing, it counts as a powered melee because again, we're refreshing the overshield every time we get a melee kill. It's causing volatile because of Controlled Demolition. It counts as a powered melee kill, just like on the arc subclass. Once was the knockout, frontal assaults proc, all that stuff. If you continue getting arc kills and they die to arc, it'll spawn orbs of power. Same thing here. On the chest piece, you can honestly rock any combination of resistance and reserve mods that you would like. I personally like melee damage resistance for this build because we are going to be in close quarters, and again, being able to take less damage when we're near a bunch of adds is going to be really good because again, we're going to be using the shotgun. And then I have solar reserves and then void reserves. Again, void reserves for the void weapons, solar reserves for the shotgun we're going to be using, which is going to be conditional finality. I'll cover the perks of that later. On the boost, the main thing to note is the new mod that came with the season, Elemental Charge. Collecting a Fire Sprite, Onyx Trace, Stasis Shard, Void Breach, or destroying a Strand Tangle has an escalating chance to give you an armor charge. So pretty much when we pick up that Void Breach, it has a very high chance to give us an armor charge. If you don't know what an armor charge is, essentially when you pick up an orb of power, you'll gain an armor charge. Baseline, you have 3 armor charges. With the blue mods, there's pretty much put a timer on those armor charges, so for 10 seconds. And if you have any of these yellow mods, pretty much when you pop that certain ability, it'll take away those armor charges to give you some sort of bonus. Now, personally, I do like Solar Weapon Surge specifically for conditional finality, so I can get that bonus damage for 30 seconds when I have 3 armor charges that are each lasting 10 seconds. And then Void Weapon Surge for my Void Weapons. Now lastly on my class item, I'm rocking Outreach and Bomber, so when I use my class ability, I get a cooldown on my grenade and my melee. And then lastly, I have Time Dilation. Your decaying armor charge has a longer duration, so these blue mods go from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. So at max 3 armor charges, I now have 45 seconds of this bonus weapon damage. Now for stats for you to focus on, obviously we talk about this every video, try to have tier 10 resilience, 100 resilience. It's going to give you a 30% damage reduction in PvE. Yes, we have great survivability with the overshield and multiple other things with this build in particular, but always try to have tier 10 100 resilience. If you have trouble figuring that out, you can do D2 armor picker. You can do the dim loadout feature, telling you what armor pieces will give you the max resilience, and try to help out your other stats as well, so you're not guessing on the armor pieces. Pretty much allows you to min max. Now the other stats I would focus on personally is discipline. Again, discipline is tied to the grenade. The faster we have that grenade, the more we can cause volatile and a bunch of other stuff as well. Then lastly, strength. I would recommend maxing out strength. Again, mine's a tier 8 here, but strength is tied to your melee, and the faster we can have that shield throw, the better. Next, let's talk about what weapons I am using. So Obviously, there's a plethora of shotguns we can use. Heck, you could use double special if you would like. I don't have a lot of double special builds, but obviously, if you have double special, use a heavy ammo weapon. You get heavy ammo kills, has a higher chance to spawn special ammo. You get special ammo every 30 seconds if you don't have any special ammo. It's really weird how all that stuff works. I definitely recommend doing some research if you want to check it out yourself. I think that's totally fine. I mean, heck, there's a way to rock 3 shotguns if you have a, you know, one in the kinetic that's legendary, one in the energy that's legendary, and then tractor cannon on the heavy slot. Now you have 3 shotguns. I think that's totally fine if you want to do that. But personally, if you have the conditional finality exotic shotgun from Ruder Nightmares, I would recommend putting this one on. Split decision. Dual barrel split into stasis and solar damage. We have shortened barrel, alloy magazine, and then textured grip. But the main thing is paracausal pellets. Landing nearly all stasis pellets will freeze targets, and landing nearly all solar pellets will ignite targets. This is pretty much the unstoppable champion weapon without saying. It's the unstoppable champion weapon. Now, the reason I was rocking solar mods is because they actually work with the shotgun. Even though it says stasis, it also does have the solar damage perk, and for some reason the stasis mods don't work on this, but the solar ones do, so that's why I have the solar reserves, so I have more ammo for the shotgun, and then solar weapon surge, because this actually does stack with the bonus damage from no backup plans. Now, outside of all the shotguns you can use, again, try to find the one with, you know, 1-2 punch. Hitting an enemy with every pellet in the shot increases melee damage for a short duration, so you could, you know, hit a higher tier target, then punch them. And again, if you have the extra damage while you have the Void Overshield, there's ways to do that too. Again, like I said, tractor cannon, you can knock back, you know, definitely 2 or more targets with this to get a free Overshield just from tractor cannon. But in regards to a primary, especially this season, you know, like I said, after the season's over, Repulsor Brace might be good, but I would try to find a void weapon that comes with destabilizing rounds. Again, final blows cause nearby targets to become volatile. This can synergize with controlled demolition and the rest of the perks. Now, if you got through all that and you're still a little confused, let me break it down for you. I'm going to talk about the synergy and how this build works. Honestly, there really isn't any setup for this. The main thing we want to do is get an Overshield. Now, again, we have a couple ways we can do that, whether it's getting rapid shotgun final blows or collecting a Void Breach from, you know, defeating a target with volatile rounds. You know, volatile abilities, whatever it is, you know, the weakening grenade. We have options to, you know, get an Overshield. Once we get the Overshield, the survivability is crazy. Instantly, we get that bonus damage to shotguns, which is great. And with Elemental Charge on our boots, there's an escalating chance every time we pick up that Void Breach, we're going to get an armor charge. And once we do, that's going to last 15 seconds for that first armor charge. And now we get that bonus damage to our shotgun and our Void Weapon, which is going to be great. Now, if you recall, when we pick up a Void Breach, now we get Devour. So as long as we continue chaining kills, we're going to get health back and our grenade back even faster. Again, our grenade's going to weaken targets. Again, another way that we can create those Void Breaches. We have the shield throw melee, so if we don't have an Overshield, we can throw the shield throw, hit a bunch of targets, and we get that Overshield again. Plus, anytime we use our abilities, controlled demolitions kicking in, you know, causing a lot of volatile, causing health back, pretty much wiping out and clearing rooms of ads. With offensive bulwark, right when we have the Overshield, we're going to have a faster charge for our grenade. We're going to have that increased melee range and damage, and melee final blows are going to extend that duration of the Overshield in case we are about to run out. Now, it's pretty cool, like I mentioned. Once we have that Void Overshield and we continue meleeing, Heavy Hand is going to kick in on our gauntlets, creating Orbs of Power for us. So if we really need a bunch of Orbs of Power for some reason, whether it's for armor charges or super whatever, we can continue meleeing targets, and that will give us a bunch of Orbs of Power. Plus, on the helmet, hands-on, giving us that bonus super energy. Now, with everything else, obviously Echo of Remnants on the subclass, you know, now our Vortex Grenade is going to last longer. It's going to have a longer lasting weaken as well. With Echo of Reprisal, we're going to be near a bunch of combatants. All those final blows are going to give us more super energy, so we can get that Word of Dawn back even faster. Ash of the assets on the helmet. When we get kills with our grenade, we're going to get our super back faster. On the helmet as well, for some reason, we're getting low on special, you know, we need special. Special Ammo Finder is going to help us keep up our special ammo count, which is going to be fantastic. Obviously, on the chest piece, melee damage resistance. You know, we're going to be in those close quarters anyway. We might as well help ourselves out. We also have the Solar and Void Reserves, giving us more ammo for our conditional finality and our heavy weapon. Not necessarily for our energy primary weapon. That's not really a big deal here, but having more shotgun ammo is obviously going to help us. Anytime we use our melee or our grenade, momentum transfer and impact induction on the gauntlets is going to kick in, giving cooldowns to both of those things. And then obviously on the class item, with time dilation, we have 45 seconds of bonus weapon damage because of the weapon surge mods on the boots, and bomber and outreach kick in every time we use our class ability. Again, we use that barricade. Now we get our grenade and our melee back even faster. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my no backup plans Void Titan build. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I'm actually going to pin the dim link for this build at the top of the comments, so if you want to copy everything that I'm using down to the subclass, the armor mods, even the drip, if you would like to try to copy it, I think that's totally fine. But again, test this out for yourself. You know, form your own opinion on it. Let me know what you guys think. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you think it could have changed out something? Is there something that you like on this build in particular that you're like, hey, I changed out this one little thing and I think it works extremely well? Again, definitely let me know. I'm willing to hear you out. I'm testing stuff out in this game all the time. And anyway, guys, if you like what you saw, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then turn the bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another build video here on the channel. If you didn't know, we actually stream here live on YouTube 3 days a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Sometimes I change around the day and time depending on my schedule. But if you want to stay updated when I am streaming, again, be sure to follow me on Twitter at itsDaveTV. Again, I always tweet out when I'm going live. And if you want to participate in any raids, dungeons, PvP, or just hang out in the Discord together, again, that link will be in the description. Again, my Discord has, you know, obviously Destiny 2, but we talk about other games in there as well, on top of PC Tech, anime, and more. Lastly, if you didn't know, we hit YouTube Partner here on the channel, which is freaking awesome. It's giving us access to a couple of cool benefits. One of those things being memberships. If you don't know what a membership is essentially like a Twitch subscription. Again, it's just another way to support me here on the channel so I can continue making this content for you guys. So if you would like more information, all you need to do is press the join button, next subscribe, and that will give you a rundown with all the details you need. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been your boy. Catch you in the next one. Cheers.